So Ryan Day, the head coach of Ohio State, he had some comments about the single window that was proposed for the portal in college football in January, and he had this to say yesterday.
I don't think it's a good idea at all. In the conversations that we had with the Big Ten coaches, I think the majority of them agree. I just don't quite understand how, for teams that are playing in the playoffs are expected to, make the decisions and sign their upcoming players while they're still getting ready to play for games. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know the calendar is funky, but, I know that the Big Ten and Tony Petitti's been working hard because he doesn't believe it either, and neither do the coaches in the Big Ten. We had a lot of long discussions about that and tried to work through the different windows, but I don't agree with it being in January.
All right, so portal.
You have to assume the SEC feels the same way too. Those are the two biggest conferences that matter.
Well, that's why I don't understand. How does this all come about then? Like, you have coaches who are telling you this isn't a good idea. Now, granted, a coach who probably expects to be playing this time of year coincides with the semifinals and national championship, which I do believe is bringing up a good point. Even though it's only 4 teams, it really is tough. Like on the coaches, on the players. I mean, think about if you're a player who's a backup, and you're not going to get a chance to play there the following year, but you're playing in the semifinal game. I mean, Bo Pribula, your backup, falls right in this category. The backup for Penn State last year had to make a decision. Absolutely. And because he knew Drew Aller was going to be the guy, and he had to transfer instead of being with his team through it.
And if Drew Aller goes down, we do not have our real backup quarterback with, like, you're talking about a matter of a week.
Right.
We're talking like a matter of a week. Yeah. So that you've basically impacted the college playoff with this portal. Go ahead.
And you wonder too, like, what about a player where, like, let's say the starter goes down, and it could be any position in the quarterfinal game, and so the backup's now thrusted into that role for the semifinal final, yet can't transfer. Right? He's got this window. He's got to play it out. His team has a chance to play for a national championship. You can't do that. Yet when that starter comes back next year, he's going to be a backup. Like, it's not that complicated. I don't know why they can't look at it and say, let's go to the spring window. The spring window is the only window. And it allows a couple of things. Let's say a new coach takes over. Maybe that young man can stay at that school, go through spring, and figure out if he wants to be there for this new coach or not. Or figure out, for example, if he's going to be the starter or not. And then once that happens, he can say, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go elsewhere. That's fine. You still have the summertime, you still have training camp and all of that. I don't know why they don't look at the spring window for football and say, this is the only window they need. They don't need 2. It would allow a lot of the kids, to be able to make a sound decision, force them to commit for a year to a place, and allow the coaches to still be able to kind of do the recruiting they do at the high school level and play for national championships and not be impacted. It doesn't seem this complicated. I don't know why or who's pushing this whole January date, especially when you have the defending national champions, the head coach, saying him and others in the Big Ten don't like it. And I can't imagine the SEC likes it, or the Big 12 or the ACC. I don't get where this comes from.
Pribula even spoke about it afterwards, saying he didn't want to leave. Like, he wanted to be a part of the college football playoff and go through the whole process. And it wasn't like he didn't get any playing time last year. They used him in spots last year. And
of course they did.
And James Franklin had his back afterwards and said, listen, this is not on him. Like, he said it back then. He had no choice. He had to do it. Like, he literally had to do it. He didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. And it just,
if he wanted to play, like that's just because, again, transferring is transferring. Right? Like, to me, that's a whole different conversation. If you've made the decision that you want to transfer, there could be greener pastures, other places. I get that. So, but you didn't have to transfer. There's always that, right? So, but having his back and being supportive of what Bo did, I think we all were within the community because we all understood what the scenario was when Drew Allard declared that he was going to come back this season. So, but with that being said, again, it is 4 teams. It was the quarterfinals, I believe.
It would open after the quarterfinals.
Right, after the quarterfinals. And so to me, when I look at it from that perspective, you're still like the teams that are in the playoffs are probably impacted by it as well. And I won't go too deep into that, but it's just there's a lot of communication, I would assume, that is taking place leading up to that portal opening up. And I doubt it's by the players themselves. It's this new age of agents are a part of this. Parents are more activated in what's going on now. People make it a point to put it out there what the plan is going to be moving forward. Plus, it's a 10-day window. That's not a large amount of time. You're talking about thousands of young athletes that are going into the portal, and these schools have 10 days to figure out what they want to do, not only with those kids that are in, or young men that are in the portal, but what they're going to do with the players that are currently on their team. Like, now you got to take that into consideration. So I think there's so many moving elements in it that there should be a fair opportunity where the time is used properly by all teams, all things given, make it even in terms of what that looks like. Because if a team is playing far into the playoffs, or preparing for the playoffs, they're not preparing for. You're not just going to take this portion of your team and send them to just recruit for the transfer portal. So somebody's going to take an L in that, and it just doesn't seem like that should be how it is.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.